bro. Welcome to the Cat Tavern podcast with Kieran and your main host, Ethan.
Yes, the typical main host.
Well, Kieran might be the other co-host. I'll let him hold that title.
We decided we'd integrate one camera today. Usually we just sit in the same room with two separate cameras and two separate mics.
Back to back with the green screen between us.
Insane audio filters. But now we're here. Caitlin's off to the side. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay.
So yeah, today we are in Jasper for the 4th of July. Kieran came down to hang out with the boys. We had a fireworks show last night. We all pitched in some money and used our discount at J&J's fireworks shop to get a pretty decent show going. I won't lie, it wasn't bad for, just our friend group and, Chase's sister's friend group. So that was pretty good.
How didn't they say it was like $700 worth of fireworks?
I think it was like $600, but then we got 20% off on everything. And then they threw in, I think you're getting the $700 from, they threw in another $100 or $200 worth of fireworks for free. Since one of our friends, for anyone who doesn't know, one of our friends' dads owns a fireworks shop in town, so we get some pretty good deals, which makes it easy for us to light our own shows. Yeah.
Do some chases and get drunk and shoot off fireworks.
This year we only lost 2 fingers, which is way less than usual. I mean, normally we're losing like dozens of fingers every year.
Dude, I was not about to be a part of that. The Roman candle war.
Did they do that last night?
The other group was, yeah.
The other group was?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't do it this year.
Inside.
Did you do the Roman candle war like any of the other years?
I haven't done it. I'm just like, I don't know. I see what it can do. I'm like, I don't know if I need that in my life.
Well, the point is that you can do it to someone else, and they're okay with it because they signed up for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to lose an eye.
Yeah, I mean, normally
as long as you go for like chest or below, but like you can only aim so well with those things.
A lot of us, wear like sunglasses or something and call it safety protection. We're experts. We know what we're doing. We've done it enough years. But normally we stand far enough away that the firework is kind of fizzling out by the time it reaches somebody, because nobody really wants to, lose a bodily part over this. It's not quite worth it. There's no money on the line. There's nothing like that.
You don't want to get hit, but you want to have the appeal of attempting to hit someone with it. So
the exception to that, though, was last year. I was feeling quite well, and I dove head first into the it was a giant. It's always a giant circle because we're all standing on the very edge of the range of these things, and shooting across at the other side usually. And, getting like a little hit or two maybe. But I dove in the middle of the circle and was an absolute menace. I think I dodged everything. It was crazy. And then I hit 3 people.
Yeah, that's not a lot for me. I'm good. I wasn't that drunk. Not enough to want to do that.
Drunk? Who said anything about that?
I have the handle that you threw in my cooler in there still.
Oh, it was like a shot or two. It really wasn't much.
For all I know, it was pretty much empty, and you were holding it, carrying it around when I got there. So
all I'll say is that it had a shot or two in it whenever you got there.
It did.
Before. No, it wasn't. Thankfully,
was that like a whiskey or liquor?
No, it was a rum. But I don't know. It was just a handle that I've had with almost nothing in it in my room for, I don't know, probably about a year at this point. And it's kind of just taking up space. This whole bottle for a sip worth.
To polish it off.
Yeah, I was like, I guess now's a decent time to bring it out. But I mean, I was fine. I drove home last night. I was good.
Yeah, I did as well. But at 11 I called it, and I'm like, all right, time to stop.
At 11? What was it really that early?
When I stopped, yeah.
To be,
Well, but we left at like.
Caitlin's shaking her head no.
Did we leave at 2?
We got home at 2.
Got home at 2.
In the
But
morning?
you were
Yeah.
wrestling boys for like
Yeah, I was.
an hour.
Oh, that's right. You stayed longer than I did.
It still went on after you left.
Really? For that much longer? I thought it was kind of petering out. Like,
No, there was. Well, you were there when Cameron and
Connor were
were just
into it.
get into a Pong argument.
The Pong argument that lasted like 45 minutes of just yelling at
The
each other.
problem is you can't.
Hands in the face.
So I understand the house rules thing, but if you don't have a mediator before the match, somebody to call it, then you can't do anything about it. You gotta have a mediator, a ref, or something to be like, all right, that's this guy's or this guy's.
Well, you got the house rules part right. Now, the part where we went wrong is that neither of those two are from the house, and the guy who was from the house did not want to get in the middle of that because it was getting way too heated. So you're kind of in a dilemma where it's like you need someone to lay down the rules, but nobody wants to get
Well, it's like
involved
you're
in that.
not-
At that
if
point,
you're-
I don't think anybody would have believed.
If you're like 7 or 8 drinks in, and then you start a Pong match, nobody's gonna go over the rules and regulations before the match.
Or they don't have printed out and laminated the rules of the,
We
of
might
the
need
game.
to do that.
We all do a
We might need
collaborative
to do
reading
that to
beforehand.
solely avoid that problem next year.
If everybody sit down in a circle. We're gonna read we're gonna popcorn read the Pong
We
rules.
won't read it, but we'll print it out and laminate it so it's there and be like, well, you know what? It says right here, you chose not to read it, so.
Don't want to popcorn read. I haven't done a popcorn reading since high school, Kieran. I want to be like, Chase, it's your turn. You read the Pong rules for a line, and then we just go back and forth, and everybody has to pay attention.
Sorry, I'm a little tired. Yeah, I don't remember ever doing popcorn read. Maybe like once or twice.
In high school? In school ever?
Yeah,
Really?
I don't know. I didn't do a lot.
I had a teacher who did it all the time. And that's not what I remember this teacher for. I remember this teacher for giving a guy, his name was Justin, in my class, a nickname. So Justin could be a little bit sarcastic at times in a very funny way. He's a very funny guy.
Mm.
But the thing is he did it a lot with her. And I think she did like him as a student, but she gave him the nickname because he was always kind of sarcastic and a little snippy, Saucy Boy. And for an entire year, for an entire year in high school, this guy was getting called Saucy Boy by the teacher.
Dude, I think he changed that to his PlayStation name.
Did he really?
I have him on PlayStation. I remember seeing that somewhere.
He probably did. I think like for a little bit, a good chunk of the grade was calling him that just because.
I never knew where it came from though. So that's
it was from English class. She's like, you're such a sassy boy, and then like started calling him that for the entire year. It was, I don't know, it was different. We'll just say it was different. Leave it there.
I never had a nickname in school.
I don't think I did either, but I mean, I don't know what kind of nickname you could give to Kieran or Ethan.
Just 2 white males. Just average white males.
I don't know what that has to do with it.
Yeah, I don't know. We were middle of the pack.
Yeah, we really were. Whenever it comes in terms of like, I don't know, you think of like popularity and stuff like that, I think we kind of floated in between the cracks somewhere in the middle.
Like we were here for a couple things, but didn't do anything too extreme.
Yeah, I feel like we knew everybody. We were cool with everybody, but it's just like, I don't know, we weren't. We didn't have the stereotype. I think that's the best way to put it. We were without the stereotypes.
Yeah, it's definitely a more ideal situation compared to others.
Yeah, because I know some of them, like some people, carry the stereotypes out of high school, and that's kind of when it becomes a problem. And ironically, I was talking to one of the like sportier, people that would have been considered popular in high school, a year or two after high school. So we're in college at this point, and I'm talking to her at the gym. Hadn't seen her probably since high school, and we're kind of catching up, asking her how school's going, and she says something about like, yeah, it's going all right, but she's like, it's just kind of weird. I was like, what's weird about it? And she's like, well, it's just weird. Nobody gives a shit anymore. She's like, she even said something about like, she's like, now I have to have a personality now that I can't, just be the sports or the popular kid or something anymore. Like she straight up said, she was joking about it though. Like she was being cool about it, but like she was self-aware of it, which I think was honestly pretty impressive. Because I feel like a lot of people aren't.
It almost didn't matter what you were in high school when you get to college.
It doesn't matter, like, at all. You can reinvent
It's kind of
yourself.
a nice thing about it. Made a lot of new friends and whatnot.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready for a 180? I only brought like one topic for the day, but I feel like this would be kind of interesting.
Okay.
We've talked about it before. We talked about it the last time we were out at that campfire, probably about a year ago. Ghost. So
What campfire? Hold on, you gotta take me back a second.
Cameron's fiance.
Okay.
We were I don't know, we were out at his fire and
Where was this fire?
at Adrian's.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The important details.
Okay, yeah.
So
I was literally blanking. I was like, I can't remember.
to catch everybody up, Kieran is involved. Well, I shouldn't say involved, but how would you phrase it? Like a believer in the paranormal?
This is where you get.
Yeah, I don't know. I figured this would be interesting because I'm sure people out here are split too.
Since then, didn't that lady that guided our tour get fired? Well, oh no, your mom.
Didn't like her.
Her mom has a friend that like works at what was the place called?
Yeah, sanatorium.
It might just be the sanatorium,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like known for being haunted or having paranormal problems. It is literally in the sticks. Like it's terrifying. The drive there. You're literally driving through brush and broken down buildings that are not used anymore. They probably haven't been touched in like 30 years.
We got a photo up on the side.
Well, I mean, that's daylight, so that's, yeah.
A little creepy. It kind of just looks like my grandma's house.
If I have the capability in my editing software, I could just throw a couple pictures up of the sanatorium on the screen. If I can't, then that's too bad. Just imagine it.
I know this screen's blank right now. There's nothing.
There's nothing.
There.
I'm gonna forget I even said I'd do this. But what? So we did this like guided paranormal tour at like 11 p.m. or something.
Yeah.
It was like pitch black outside is the main thing, and this lady like. I don't know, she's like super invested in like paranormal crap. She wrote a book because she claims she's a medium and she can like see spirits and talk to them. And she wrote a whole book about like the paranormal she sees at her house. Like she has like a whole like she drew like actual portraits of the people that she sees regularly. And they're like is it Civil War aged?
Like all of them, but yeah.
Yeah,
There's a British guy that follows her around.
British guy. She has like a whole army in her backyard or something, just like an encampment with
nice.
Tents and whatnot. I'm like, this lady's full of crap.
And she needs to take them across Valley Forge.
She told us this after the tour, so then I was like, okay, that was all bullshit. But we went on the tour and she was really hyping it up. I mean, there's no lights in the building. It's pitch black outside. you know, you hear creaks and groans every now and then, but it was kind of terrifying. I didn't see anything with my own eyes, but you guys said you saw like a black figure
There's, like-
cross across the doorway or something
Yeah, and she said like that's common. I didn't really
in that
see it,
spot.
but I think we might have it on video too.
Yeah,
Take a video.
there. I don't know. I didn't see anything with my eyes, but some of the others on the tour claimed they saw the black figure cross across like a doorway and down a hall, which is a common spot for that to happen. Again, there could be strings, you know, pulling some strings, but the whole idea was to hype everyone up, get them like kind of, you know, a little bit anxious being there, which I get that's kind of the selling point, but I don't know. It was very terrifying, I will say. I didn't really want to turn my back to a doorway.
Yeah.
It's like you can tough talk it before you get there, but when you're there, it's kind of really scary.
No, I bet. I mean, the thing is for those who don't know, I'm like not. I don't know. I'm not a big believer in it, although I think it's super interesting and like movies and places that make you feel like it's real. I think are super cool. I think they're super interesting. It's just that like, and the thing is I used to be whenever I was younger, but then I always say whenever I kind of grew up and like got my first toolkit, I kind of just went around the house and fixed all the creaky doors and leaky sinks and like quite literally went around and fixed some stuff that like had been bothering me for years.
Yeah.
And then it like stopped and I was like, huh, this hinge has just been loose the entire time we've been living here. And it's like stuff like that. And it's like, it's not like I'm going to completely discredit it either and say that, you know, it's like not possible. I mean, I'm not going to swing the other way. It's just like, I haven't had any great experiences. And actually one of our friends once tried to show me one that he had whenever he was working at the local pool. There was a light in his office that he could say, what he told me is you could say blink 3 times and it would just do it. And like all kinds of like you could just tell it different things and like communicate, you know, like yes, no questions based on the amount of blinks and things like that.
You see, I don't like electricity stuff though.
You know, because you're an engineer.
He could be saying that, but he could have like, you know, there could be something, a pressure point on the wall where the wire's like faulty, and if you press on a certain point in the wall, maybe it like cuts the current or something.
Yeah, but it's not like he was trying to like dupe me or something. Like he believed in it, and we weren't near a wall or anything. We were just sitting at his desk, like he was fully invested in this. And I remember the disappointment on his face whenever he had me come over to see this. So I came over. I think I like brought him lunch or something. We're hanging out, and he's like, "All right, so I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about now." And he did it, and it just did not respond. And he's like, "This has never happened. This has never happened." And he kept trying to go. He kept trying to get it. After a while, it did like 1 or 2 blinks, but it took forever. I guess so. Yeah. I mean, lifeguards need to take their 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's the only like place that I've actually gone to that's haunted or whatever has any form of activity that people have recounted. The guide told a story that they used to allow self-guided tours. They might still do that, but it's like extra and it's later on in the night and you can kind of walk around by yourself. And they had that one night, and she said across the building, all she heard was just somebody shrieking at the top of their lungs from like the basement cafeteria area. And they made their way over to her, and she was like staring at the freezer because it was a walk-in freezer. So it has that big metal door thing, and she was just frozen stiff staring at it. And apparently the lady claimed that there was like a hand that was reaching around the freezer door. It was like a pale white hand, and you know kind of like how the Grinch's hand looks, where it's like long and kind of slender. Maybe not hairy, but like if it's like long and slender fingers or whatever.
Looks like Slender Man's hands.
I guess. Apparently, that's what the hand looked like. Was reaching around the side of the door and like closed the door or whatever
To the freezer?
to the freezer, the walk-in freezer.
The problem with
That was the story, right? That was I think But apparently the lady was shrieking at the top of her lungs because she saw that or whatever. And she was by herself in a pitch black sanatorium in the cafeteria.
That's pretty crazy.
I wouldn't pay for that. I was terrified.
You could maybe pay me to do it, you know?
If I had a flashlight, maybe.
Maybe.
Well, we did have
She
flashlights.
didn't bring a flashlight?
Well, I think you have to have flashlights for safety reasons, so, yeah. But there were certain points where she's like, okay, we're going to look here and turn our lights off. No.
No.
I'd rather not do that. But, yeah, hearing that was terrifying.
Yeah.
It's just stuff by yourself, because it's like, well, we can just sit here and say this lady was faking it, is seeing things. But if she actually did see that and nobody believes her, that sucks.
Yeah, I know. Well, I just thought of my new hobby.
Yeah.
It's going to sanatoriums and other haunted areas, doing the self-guided night tour with a whole bunch of other people. We all just split up, and I just start blood-curdling screaming all the time. And then I like run away and hide so that they show up and it's like nothing's even
You
there.
scare the hell out.
Maybe I just leave my shoes and I like kick my shoes off and I run away and all it is just my shoes stand like just
Did
sitting
you
there.
just leave the premises? Nobody can even account for you. I think at that point that they would have to call like police or something. Like, we have a missing person.
You bring a change of clothes and you change real quick and just throw all the clothes you're wearing on the ground.
Put on a mustache.
Yeah, you put on a mustache.
You're standing in the back.
Standing in the back. What's going on here? Oh my god, I knew that guy.
Dude.
I came with him.
Dude, honestly though, October, we should, or not even October, because it's open year round. We should book like a self-guided tour and then just you and me walk around recording.
We should for the pod.
Dude, we gotta do it for the pod.
For the pod.
Well, I guess the channel. It wouldn't be a pod. It would just be a video, but yeah. For the views.
Ethan and Kieran get taken to hell for YouTube.
Dude, I think we would actually get scared though. I'm not gonna lie.
Probably.
Because in there, I think there is a really real thing with memories and like past things, history being like stuck in places like that. You know,
you mean
like all the
everything's old,
like all the emotions, the feelings, the trauma being stuck in a building like that, because a lot of shit went down there. I mean, you know how much death that building's seen. Like, I really do think there's a real thing about stuff like that being trapped there.
I get that.
Whether there's like actual people that have died walking around being like, boo, you know, I don't know as much.
Boo. Those scary guys out there.
Yeah.
Watch out. This one might come up behind you and save you.
Because if you think about it, like, this is going to get real physics for a second, but they talk about like the law of conservation of energy. Like, energy can be transferred and moved, but it can't be destroyed.
I did not think this conversation was going to get this deep when I brought it.
Well, no, it got me thinking now.
I see where you're going.
It got me thinking now. Like, whenever somebody dies, like, the question is, like, where did the spirit of that person go? The energy, all of the neurons firing, all the memories in their brain, all of that's energy. Like, it's readable things. Like, we can read when there's brain activity.
That's true.
Like, where does all that transfer to? Because you're just dead, deceased. Where does it go? Like, it could be going into these buildings, into the objects that person, you know, used every day.
So you're telling me I could make a killing? Hear me out. I'm able to make a material that's anti-soul absorbent. And we build all of these buildings, these hospitals, these sanatoriums with this anti-soul absorbing material, and then they're good forever.
But then the souls still have to go somewhere.
Yeah, but that's not my problem. I just sell the building.
That's it. Maybe that's where, like, what do they call those things? Like the Conjuring movies and, what is that called when somebody gets possessed?
I thought that is what it was called.
Well, it's a possession, but there is a more technical name for it. God, I cannot believe I can't remember what this is.
I wouldn't know.
Anyways, like people getting possessed. Maybe there are buildings that can't absorb the energy, so it goes into people instead. And then they go freaking crazy.
I see what you're saying.
I've never thought about. Excuse me, there. That's the happy dad's a little squeaky. I never really thought about it on this deep of a level before, but you got my hungover brain kind of firing here. I think I should do every pod hungover.
Yeah. I mean, we are getting pretty deep with it. We just need to get the world's best physicist on this stuff to find out
where does the energy of our spirit go? That's the question.
But the only problem is I feel like, and not that like the trauma that happened and stuff, whatever, doesn't linger. But I feel like it's usually at least exaggerated by the fact that they leave like 80-year-old furniture sit in these dark, damp buildings with no lights and zero care to them whatsoever, and they're all kind of falling apart. Because, like, at the time, it's probably pretty decent looking, furniture and stuff like that. So, I mean, that definitely adds.
I think a lot of it is the environment in which you live. It's like, well, we don't want to just go where people used to live. If it's run down like that, it definitely adds to the eerie feeling. If you're just walking around like a normal hospital during the day, you're not really going to be tripped out by it. But if you walk into a like 200-year-old sanatorium in the middle of the night, no electricity, you're going to be on edge a little bit.
Really?
At least a little bit. It definitely adds to, like, if you're on edge, you're going to notice every little creak, groan in that building.
And hand reaching around to close the freezer door.
Yeah.
I still think that was the ghost of maybe like my dad. He's still alive, but I feel like that was definitely him because you're like, you can't leave the freezer open. That was definitely someone's dad right there. It was just looking out for him, the energy bill.
But yeah, we definitely need to pull up if there's not the sanatorium somewhere, because I think that would actually be kind of fun to just because you can record there.
Yeah.
So
I do.
We should do that for sure.
I know a place. I've heard of a place in Tennessee that I'm pretty sure it's in Tennessee, and it's been years ago that I've read about it. Hopefully they still do it. But they had offered like $10,000 to anybody who could stay there, locked in this building. I feel like you didn't have to be 100% alone. I think you can bring a few people with you, but like no lights or anything, I don't think. For like, I don't remember if it was like 24 hours or if it was like 72 or exactly what it was. But it was some amount of time. And like several people, from what I had read, had gotten close. But like even the most hardened non-believers were like losing it and like running out in terror.
No way there's $10,000, dude. All I would do for that is literally post up in there, like extremely tired, and sleep at least for half of it.
But they say you can't sleep. Like that was part of the thing. Is like there's at least they claim that there were so many noises and stuff and like things going on and things that you're feeling on you that you can't sleep. It's like it's sleepless experience, which makes me feel like it's not any more than 3 or 4 days because otherwise you just like die of lack of sleep.
Yeah.
Unless that's how they get you.
I believe that there are places like that, but I don't know if they're offering $10,000 prizes. That seems like I feel like if you're just hard-assed enough or need the money enough, you're just going to deal with it.
Well, I think it was kind of like they're making money on it. Like you probably have to pay so much to get into it, and they're just so confident that nobody will be able to do it. They just offered whatever cash prize, just to get people to come in and try it. I think I don't know. It sounds like they got
drag you by your feet into different rooms, just throw shit at you the whole time.
I was gonna say, imagine dying, and then you've had all this regret in your whole life, and you're like, I'm gonna haunt some guys. And instead of being some like terrifying, shadow in the dark, under some kid's bed. You're monetized in Tennessee in a building where everybody's coming in and they're like, I'm going to come out of your $10,000 richer.
These ghosts. Profiting off the afterlife. That's crazy.
Working 24-hour shifts after passing away. Corporate greed.
Dude, there is like a haunted house, like an entertainment haunted house in San Francisco, I think. I think it's called like McKinley Manor or something like that. And you pay them to basically torture you. You have to sign a waiver and everything. And people have gotten like hurt at these places, I think, but you sign the waiver. So.
And it's just by other people that torture you?
Yes, I don't know how long the experience is. I don't know if it's like an hour, 2 hours, or what. But you literally sign up for legalized torture. They like will trap a glass box on your head or something and put spiders in it. They'll blend up like disgusting crap and force feed it to you.
God.
I think one of them, they like dunk your head in a toilet and like pull it out.
That's just elementary school.
Well, they'll like literally can torture you, not to the point where it's like going to cause you like death or like severe harm, but like stuff that's definitely going to make you uncomfortable and want to leave, which I think you can leave at any point, but
I would hope so.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is wild. The fact that people are paying for it, knowing that they're going in just for torture.
Yeah.
Like, that's another one of those things where, well, what I say it all the time, natural selection at work, just let it happen.
There might be a point where it's, I don't know if this is true or not. I want to say they put you in like a coffin and then like fill it up to water to like here or something.
But like you're vertically in the coffin?
Yeah, like you're laying down and the water's here and you breathe like that pocket.
Oh.
I want to say that that's something they do, but I can't remember. So I don't want to say for sure.
Jesus.
But I don't think that'd be too far off of what the other crap that happens in there.
2,000 likes and we'll do it.
Dude, I could not.
3,000 likes and 10 Patreon subs.
Dude, I don't. That's too much. It's almost just too much. I can't do that.
I know. If you want torture, you might as well get paid for it and just join the military.
Get actually taken by a different country and torture.
I was gonna say, well, like in boot camp, they like break you down and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you're getting paid for it though. And then you could go to another foreign country and just actually get tortured, but you're getting paid for it.
Be a POW.
Yeah, but you're getting paid. You gotta think about it. The POWs, they don't look great, but they are getting paid. I mean,
you gotta make it out.
Yeah, they are getting paid. Yeah, you do have to make it out. So it's it's like a high risk, high reward type of thing. But you'll get a shiny medal.
But yeah, we'll do the. We won't do the San Francisco one, but we'll do something. I'm sure. Some kind of haunted building. I want to go to actual haunted building though, not entertainment purpose.
Yeah, Indiana has plenty of them. Like for some reason, well, it's probably just because everything around
just go in the middle of the woods, and you'll have a similar feel. Just at night.
I don't know. I do. Well, I do that a decent amount, like hunting or things like that. You're
just by yourself in the middle of the woods.
Well, yeah, I'm not hunting with like a big group. You go up into a deer stand. You're there until it's dark, and you come out. And then like whenever I'm on the farm hunting, we don't have like plumbing and stuff. Yeah. So if you have to go to the restroom, like we have like a barn with we store a camper in there, and so that's where we sleep. But not going to use that for the restroom. Nowhere to dump it. So you have to go outside to for number one. If you were going number two, you gotta trek. It's not super close all the way out to the outhouse. And like pitch dark. There's like not even any light pollution because this place is out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. There's no big cities around or anything, no big towns. So it is just you. But to be honest, I usually don't feel scared. I'm usually more just amazed because there's like 20 billion stars up in the sky. I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat.
That's pretty nice. I think I just grew up watching too many like horror movies.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of Ghost Adventures as well. So like I kind of get sussed out if it's like too quiet. And it's really dark. Like, okay, something's up.
Just bring the JBL speaker with you to the haunted house.
I want you to be mine.
Fetty Wap knows.
Blast Fetty in the haunted house. But
the
turn
ghosts will
up,
start jamming. They'll be like, "This is what we've been waiting for. Now we can finally pass in peace."
turning
we've
up
heard
the
some Fetty.
spirits. Elite.
Oh man.
Anyways, last night after you left, I was getting coached by Chase and I forget the other guy's name.
Oh, on wrestling.
On wrestling.
I was there for a good chunk of that.
Okay, you were.
You were doing that for like at least an hour.
It was an hour.
It was
Yeah.
an hour.
It
I was
nice.
probably there for the first like 30, 40 minutes.
I have no prior combat experience.
And just to preface, he still has no combat experience.
But that was my first like actual wrestling training, I guess. I don't know. Learning a couple things here and there. I watched.
We should state that these guys that were teaching Kieran this last night at the party were like wrestlers in high school, and I think some of them were actually pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. So they were just, I don't know. They have some drinks, and quite often they like to relive the glory days and just like start tackling and manhandling each other.
No, I actually did like bring it up.
You brought it up?
I instigated it.
Never do that to them.
I wanted to because I did want to learn some of like the technique.
Okay.
Like that is something I'm interested in learning. It's just like I'm not gonna go pay to like learn it now. I'm 23. Like if I wanted to get good at wrestling, it's beyond this at this point.
You don't want to stand in the dojo as a white belt with all the other 10 and 11-year-olds standing around you.
Well, I could do like
you just like you give them like one kick and they're just like, you know, you just break like 20
for
bones.
wrestling anyways. Like if I wanted to be good at wrestling, I should have started that 10 years ago, you know.
Yeah,
I could start like jujitsu now if I wanted.
Actually, yeah, a lot of colleges do like jujitsu classes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I had several friends. I had 2 friends do jujitsu in college and one do judo.
Mm-hmm.
Just to learn it.
Yeah.
But
I do want to learn it. I watch a lot of UFC and I like see what's happening and I see the submissions, but like I don't know how you work your way to that point. So I think if I just want like a more technical understanding of how these guys like feel while they're in there and like get to the submission, I guess.
I guess that does make sense because I'm sure almost everybody can relate. Just like looking at a sport on TV and being like, "Come on, I could do better than that."
Well, I understand it's like exhausting. I was kind of gassed after last night.
I mean, after an hour straight, yeah. I mean, the UFC fights are only a couple
I wasn't
minutes.
I wasn't feeling exhausted for the most part until I started getting sober, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting tired.
So UFC fighters need to drink more. They won't feel the exhaustion. They'll just keep going. It's like
or they just condition. But yeah, either way.
Or condition. Yeah, that's the difference between street beefs and UFC right there.
Street beefs they probably don't last as long, I'm sure.
No, they don't.
Well, I think they do a lot shorter rounds. I don't think they do full 5-minute rounds in street beefs. I literally think it's like these guys don't train to like go the distance. They train to just knock you out. So I think they're literally like 2-minute rounds as opposed to 5 in the UFC. If they had 5-minute rounds, but they weren't able to get the finish, like you just see them in there, just like slugging.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd be beat, but Ironically, I did watch some actually when I was on vacation. My cousin brought it up.
Oh,
And
really?
he's like, check this out, and he like threw on like the compilation video he had found or something of it, and it was awful. Like it was truly terrible.
Do you see it? Like
That is something I watched, and I was like, I could do better than that. Like legitimately, like unironically, I think I could do better than that.
But like you like watching that, you're like, there are levels to this. These guys are not UFC level at all, not even close.
No, it'd be like if you're just walking out on the sidewalk and just grab two random people and you like go at it.
Like half of them are just going to brute force it. There's no technique involved. Technique goes out the window when the round starts.
Oh yeah, no, there's nothing. I mean, they haven't had training or anything. But we've already talked about Street Beast.
Yeah, but it's nice that you've actually seen some of it.
Yeah, now I actually have it. It's ironic because like there've been a few things recently that people kind of bring up to me. I'm like, I've literally never heard of that, and then like within the next day or two, I get involved in a conversation about that I didn't even start. Like somebody else brought it up, and it's like I literally just learned what that was. I'm trying to think of some
That
examples.
happens too often, and like it is kind of scary.
I know, and it probably makes it worse
That
though.
transfer of energy, you put it into the world, and it returned to you.
I think half that energy is going into my phone because I just get ads about everything like a little bit later. And what's weird too is I've heard of other people getting ads for stuff that I've talked about, like people like friends or family that I'm close with, and like I start looking at something, I'm pretty sure they know who knows who and all that.
I mean,
and like they
everything's
show
connected.
ads for things around people's like birthdays and stuff. I've noticed
They do
I get a lot of ads for other people. That's like, it's like that's not something I've ever looked at or thought I'd be interested in, but I know this person has.
I've heard that a lot of it is even like through if you're connected to the same Wi-Fi network, or if you're regionally like if you're like standing out in the middle of a field with somebody, they probably drive like a connection with that person, just based on what cell tower you're connected to. They can probably pinpoint where you are, so they kind of do close proximity to people, and then it's like, okay, this person knows this person.
Yeah,
So
between that and, I mean, Facebook has only been in trouble for selling data like 20 million times.
True.
So they're just selling all your friends. They're like, here you go. So, yeah, I guess they are able to put all that together, but it is weird seeing all that stuff. Although sometimes it's kind of helpful because it's like, I don't know what to get this person. And then, you get like an ad for it like an hour later, and it's like, that's perfect.
Dude, you're gonna get a lot of ads about ghost hunting equipment now.
I'm gonna have all my night vision cameras, and to be honest, I don't know anything. I didn't really watch any of those shows growing up.
What is one of there's what do they call those? I mean, there's literally just a recorder, but there's one that sweeps a bunch of different frequencies at once to try to pick up any form of communication on every frequency that it can.
Ghosts have radios now. They are getting advanced.
Well, there's an idea in the ghost hunting field that they speak at a different frequency range than what our human ears can hear typically. So that's the idea. It's like they talk amongst different frequencies. So they have a frequency sweeper that kind of reads different frequencies.
That idea is cool, but now what I'm envisioning is, how that chick was talking about, your tour guide was talking about the encampment in her backyard, the army encampment.
Yeah,
now I'm imagining no longer like Civil War or revolutionaries. I'm now imagining a high-tech modern military encampment, and they're sitting here using radio frequencies and all of this high-tech equipment. They're about to.
Oh, I don't think they purposely do that. I think that's just what their voice comes through as when they try to communicate with the living world. The afterlife world speaks at a different range.
No, I get what you mean.
I don't know. There's no way. This person has dedicated so much effort into this paranormal medium shtick that is
But you
like,
couldn't believe it was fake at that point. That
well,
was ruining
like
your life.
she's dedicated so much to it that does she know it's fake and is just trying to take on this persona to get people to believe her and maybe build up her reputation, or does she actually believe she sees and hears all this? Like, I don't know. Maybe she's just schizophrenic.
I was gonna say that was the first thing I thought of whenever you started this conversation like 30 minutes ago. Was they make pills for that now. But yeah, so either we have the world's greatest con man or the world's greatest nut job, or biggest nut job. So we've got one of the two.
There's no in between.
There's no in between.
Speaking of, have you seen the rise of what are these people called? They're kind of putting like palm readers and people who can tell the future and all this out of business because they're showing like the actual tricks to why people believe this and stuff.
Oh, they're disproving it, is what you're saying.
They're disproving it because they're telling you how it's done. They basically, these people are really good at reading body language and like, because a lot of people have universal tells or whatever, then they use a lot of tells to figure things out. Joe Rogan had one of these guys on his podcast that guessed his bank account pin.
Actually,
So I don't know if you saw that at all.
I didn't see that. Ironically, for everybody who doesn't know, I also don't watch any podcasts.
Well, I never got a clip or heard about it, but yeah.
No, yeah, I don't really see a whole lot, but I know what they're called. They have a different name than like, I mean, it's not like obviously not a magician or something like that, but they do have a name, and they actually brought one in for work one time, like for a day. They had one come in at breaks, and you could go talk to a mentalist.
Yes, that's what it
mentalist.
is. Mentalist.
They had a mentalist come in, and he was, guessing all of these different things based on, all this different stuff.
Reacted.
Like he gave us a book, and like a decent sized book. Like you're not memorizing every single word in this book, and he was able to, guess what word you were putting your finger on. Like you could flip through, stop at any point. And you didn't even have to like stop on a page. He could look at thickness of the pages, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just go through, find a word, keep it, and then like, he would like guess it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And after his first trick with me with the book, he got more personal, and it was something about like my personal life. I don't remember if it had something to do with school. He was trying to spell something, like get a word. I don't remember the exact story. I guess that part doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I kind of caught on to what he was doing. I was able to tell that he was using body language, and he would have you say say letters and stuff. Well, he told you to think about letters, and he would say it over and over again. And what I noticed what people were doing is they would like kind of be saying it with their mouth without actually saying it, moving their tongue and things like that. And like you kind of just like subconsciously adjust your mouth and stuff like you're about to say that letter. And he was picking up on that. And so I like got super conscious about what I was doing, and I locked down on all of my tells just to kind of mess with them. And I could kind of see in his moment, or in his eyes, sort of an oh shit moment as he realized, as he proceeded to get like 4 or 5 letters wrong in a row. But then I've got to give it to him. It was a pretty good one. He was able to pick up on something else then, and he figured something out. Maybe I kind of slipped. Maybe I got too confident. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was still able to get it. I was like, dang it, I almost had him, but I did make him slip for a second. And he changed his strategy. He told me to start doing something else, and that's what worked.
Yeah.
So I picked up on the one, but whatever he was doing the second time, I still couldn't figure out.
Yeah. Dude, you could be a mentalist if you picked up on that quick.
I don't know. I am pretty mental. I don't know if I could be a mentalist.
So I know some of them, like, if your eyes start wandering to different spots, they're like, oh, you're looking at a G or something or an H, and it's like, okay.
Maybe
like apparently they figured out like eye movement, mouth expressions, literally, I don't know, maybe what you're doing with your hands. Yeah.
It's wild that we all do similar enough stuff that they're able to like pretty much universally apply it
But I
on
think
this.
a lot of them, don't they have to get like a base foundation? Like, did he ask you questions before that he was just like, all right, start guessing?
Like about like the word or whatever. Yeah, he asked. It wasn't like the word in the book, for example. It wasn't. I don't think it was exactly how long is it. I think he told me whenever I was starting. I think he just said like make it hard, the bigger the better, or something like that. And so maybe I should have chosen a smaller word then. But I was like, I didn't go and find the longest word. I think I just found a super uncommon word that I was like, you might not be able to guess this one.
Yeah.
But maybe there weren't too many uncommon words in the book. I don't really know. Maybe he did have. He might have a pretty good knowledge of the book, but there were a few things where he kind of guides you a little bit, and it's not like he narrows it down to a super specific point, like like a magician with a card trick. They know where the card is, and they're just making you believe that there's options and whatever, but there usually isn't. With the mentalists, though, I guess they're able to just pick up on what option you did pick.
But you see how that would kind of be putting palm readers and these other people kind of out. Because, dude, they don't really know your future. They just pick up on tells and figure out what could be, like, prevalent in your life that they can bring up and convince you that they know what's going on.
Yeah, which, I mean, to be frank, speaking with a mentalist was way more entertaining than getting my palms read. It was super interesting. Like I was pretty floored on how he was able to pick up on all this stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, it's hard for me to believe any of the crap I can't see happening. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a little tough.
But you need to go see a mentalist. I mean, they won't tell you anything about your life, but they can like guess a word that you're thinking.
Yeah, I do think that's really cool. I was very entertained by that episode. If you want to like listen to it, I'll send it to you after. But I thought it was very fun to listen to.
Yeah, I probably should. I probably need to like actually listen to a podcast,
like understand how it works.
Yeah, like I'm probably blowing it. I've got no idea what's going on.
Oh, podcast.
Yeah, podcast in general. Yeah, I just don't know the formats, the strats.
There's not a strat.
There's definitely a strat. You gotta like.
We're doing it right now.
You gotta captivate the audience. You gotta hone in on their minds, and like a mentalist.
Well, I think
you have to know what they want to hear.
Well, I think the best thing to do is just ignore the audience. They don't want to be.
Screw you, audience. Oh, not like that. Never mind. I love you, kid.
The best show is pretending like you're doing it for the love of the game. We don't care about this life.
I don't care about the money. I don't care at all.
Yeah.
But I'm just doing this because it's kind of just fun to just talk and catch up. I don't know. We weren't talking a ton before the podcast just because you had moved away. Like, so a few people have asked me, like, why'd you start the podcast back up? And, well, we were at our friend's wedding, and to be honest, I don't really remember all of the conversation, but I just remember talking about our old podcast from years ago, and one of us said we should do it again. And I think I said, like, yeah, we should do it again. Like, kind of not expecting anything to actually happen from it. Kind of just thought, like, it's just one of those things where you're just, like, in the moment, you're just saying, yeah, it's a great idea. But you're, like, not ever expecting anything to happen. Yeah. And then you messaged me, like, 2 days later about actually, like, getting it started and doing an episode. I was like, well, I mean, why not? I've got free time. I might as well.
Yeah, I figured, well, it gives me something a little different, and I don't know.
As you phrased it last night, it gives you something to look forward to at night when you come home.
Yeah. No.
Caitlin looks super excited about that one.
My fiance is not too thrilled.
She loves that quote. That was being brought up at the wedding.
Yeah. Don't mess with my dog or my fiance. Just hop straight on the pod. Finally.
I don't have time to cuddle and watch movies tonight. I've got a pod.
This is the life. It's my second job.
But
Oh, there's something I was gonna bring up. Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
gone.
That's all right. We've probably killed
probably-
the hour point. I honestly have no idea how long this has been going.
We're right there.
Oh, it has been about an hour.
Yeah, I think
Well, shoot.
we're.
We got to kill it for 4 more minutes. We got a 4-minute motivational speech.
I did the last motivation.
Did you? Is it my turn or is it Caitlin's turn? Well, it's me by default.
You don't have to join the camera. You can just take the mic.
I have nothing to say.
Well, wow. We didn't inspire any inspirational thoughts.
My brain's kind of dead today.
That's tough.
That one gigantic white claw and a Cayman Jack.
You got to get
Well,
up
I had
and
a beer.
know how to watch out. All right. I got to think about something.
Even more pressure because we're in person.
We are in person.
Stare at you
Now you guys-
visibly.
Yeah, you guys are staring at me. I'd just like to turn my camera off and pretend that nobody can see this. Pretend that this isn't out on the internet for forever.
Oh, does this inspire you?
Oh, wow. Well, you found a baby picture. That's awful.
Show it to the camera. Don't be shy.
Look at that guy. Look at that guy.
Just shining.
You probably can't see anything. Alrighty. You're going to die someday. And when you die, do you want to be haunting somebody down in Tennessee, monetized, $10,000, like you're trapped on a game show working 24-hour shifts? Or do you want to be in an army encampment out back, living your best life with the boys? I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
You need to live your best life. You need to go out. You need to go out there and live a life that gets you in that situation, that whenever you move on, you're hanging out with the boys in the army encampment. You're going back to Valley Forge. You don't want to be grinding away all day long every day, being corporate slave and then having to do it again for the rest of your afterlife as well as your life. You don't want that. You probably did in your before life too at that point. So you need to go out there and you need to get with the boys right now and make some memories, or girls, and make some memories. Very feminist.
Progressive podcast.
Yeah, very progressive. And go out there and make some memories that will live not just through this life, but through the next. Is that pretty good?
Yeah.
I
I
feel like,
also want to add.
I feel like that actually kind of went somewhere a little bit. I didn't expect that to be good.
That was pretty good. I also want to add on. You brought up the Tennessee house and the army encampment. Maybe think about where you want to die, because you might be stuck there for eternity. So something to keep in the back of your head. Think about it.
Whenever I start going downhill when I get older, I'm gonna have them drag me out. I don't know. What would be something fun to do forever? What wouldn't get boring?
What would get boring? That's a very deep question.
That is a deep question. All right, that's your
Find
homework.
out on the next episode.
Yeah, find out.
Or go ahead
Find
and
out where to die on the next episode.
comment on YouTube where you would die forever.
Forever.
Well, you can comment on Spotify now, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, go comment on Spotify and YouTube. Where would you die?
No, we have a poll now too. We could just ask everybody where they want to die.
I wonder if I can do a custom option. If not, I'll just put some.
We'll just put like Sky Zone and like Chuck E. Cheese, and you can pick between.
You can pick between any of the options below.
It's Sky Zone or Chuck E. Cheese. There are no other options. Maybe Dave and Buster's if we can do 3.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in for this episode of In-Person Cat Tavern Podcast. Make sure to check us out on Spotify and YouTube. We also have a TikTok. I uploaded that basketball fail video that I mentioned from Ethan's prime. So,
My prime, yikes. If that was my prime, I'd just leave it there. There's nothing else to say.
also, be sure to check out the Trimmed Package podcast on YouTube.
Don't do that.
You can see Ethan rubbing aloe vera on me somewhere on the internet. So
That's still out there?
Yep.
I can't believe it.
With all, 35 subscribers we saw on that thing?
We got 35 still? I'll take that.
On the trim package.
Yeah, only 2 podcast episodes.
We pulled it up last night of our old podcast channel, or YouTube channel, I guess, and there were over 100 views on the podcast episodes. That was nuts.
Yeah, honestly, that was way more than I was expecting because we were young. We were sophomore, juniors in high school.
It just sat there marinating and just got random viewers.
Aged like fine wine, I'm sure. I'm sure we'd go back and be super proud of ourselves if we pulled them up.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. That's all for this one.
See you the next time.